What are you looking forward to most upon your release?
Q-tips. I'm just kidding. I am very much looking forward to the sun and the ocean. I'm looking forward to my friends, my house. I think that as a woman, something that I have done to really carve out a space for myself despite all of the difficulties of navigating power dynamics is to have my home. That anybody can come anytime, that I can house somebody when they need it, that I can provide resources for people. I think I really miss taking care of people. Really, really miss it. It is so strange, and I think a byproduct of organizing to be taken care of by others. It's been a great experience, and I'm very humbled by it, but I just miss my home. I miss being able to have something to offer.
Now, Erin Choi, while she was making her closing arguments to the jury, she argued that an innocent verdict in this case would send the message to everyone in New York City that it is permissible to attack police officers. She made it specifically about Officer Bovell, but police officers overall.
That's crazy. That's nuts. I specifically went on Democracy Now! Like, what, an hour after, or a day after my release or something, what I clearly shouldn't have. Like, I was all sorts of PTSD'd out in that interview. Specifically with the intent to say to people, I know you're enraged, I know you're outraged. To some degree, I understand that this was a really traumatic event for you, despite not really understanding what happened. Nonetheless, police officers are a part of the 99%. Whether you like it or not, they don't call the shots. Somebody says jump, they say how high. They're not given any authority independently to do most of their things. And ultimately, I mean, there's bad people who make bad decisions, but these are people who are often trying to get out of the same, as I said before, institutional poverty that most of the prisoners here at Rikers are here for. You know, and they are required to follow through with X, Y, and Z amount of certain force in order that they not be written up. Also, if you look at the unionization standards of the NYPD, it's organized by tiers, so there's no bottom-up accountability. I think that when you look at the officers in Madison, Wisconsin, who sat with us, occupied with us on behalf of rights for nurses and teachers, you get a sense of who they are. When you think about what happened in Egypt, where authorities sided with the people, at least temporarily, you get a sense of that. And I think that when you start to see these horrific, though understandable acts of vigilantism on behalf of these police officers that are retiring or, you know, quitting, like the man who ran around, which I obviously do not advocate for, but I think that they are just people too. I think they've got to be organized in the same way that we organize anybody else. And I think that if you've ever spent a shit ton of time locked up with a police officer screaming about Occupy Wall Street, then you probably have heard one or two of them say, "You think we don't agree with you? We can't even pay for our kids to go to college."
And on that note, what do you feel the appropriate response is for activists when confronted by police?
Whew, and this is a discussion that I think is maybe really long overdue. We hold a lot of trainings at Quincy House, my house, specifically where we engage in realistic police trainings of the 1960s variety. They put cigarettes on, well, hit each other with eggs and screamed racial obscenities. We beat each other with batons and pepper spray one another, so that we can understand not only what those actions feel like against us, but what it means to be the person being required to, as per their health and well-being, to exercise violence against somebody else. I think that's how we have to think about it, and I think the way that we have to react is we have to train our bodies with a serious discipline to always control our physical responses to other beings. I think we've got to enter into spaces of protest, and if I would say I made one mistake that night, March 17th, that would be it. Don't go to a protest if you're not there to protest. Go to a protest in an outfit you want to get arrested in. go to a protest specifically with the ends of protesting. Because if you're not there and you're not in the mental space, you're sitting duck, you're target. You're going to be taken advantage of. So I think we've got to get disciplined. We've got to understand that this could be a paradigm shift, a new era where the corporatocracy that is now enveloped the judicial wing of our system can and will come down on us as hard as possible, and we have got to train our bodies to be conscious of every movement so that we can be held accountable for every movement, not by the system, the judicial system, but to one another.
Now, we have just 10 minutes left. We're coming right down to the end here. What I wanted to get in very quickly, if you had just, say, a moment or two to speak with Judge Weibel, what would you say to them?
Oh dear God, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you so angry? Like, why did you get into this profession? Do you have any sense of what it is that you're sending people into? Have you ever known anybody in jail? Have you ever been to jail? Do you have people at home who love you? Like, I can't even, I can't even look at him as, it is difficult for me to see him as a person. And I am so confused as to what it is that led him into this position, or what sort of justice it is that he thinks he's administering, or does he even like people, like, as human beings? Like, what is his angle? Who is he accountable to?
And then on that note, switching gears, if you had just a moment or two to say something to the one juror, the holdout juror who eventually went with the rest of the pack and then arranged the letter writing campaign where 9 jurors signed a form asking for leniency, what would you say to that?
Haven't you ever seen 12 Angry Men? Or what do you think they do with felons? But also, thank you for being a human being, for recognizing a human error on your behalf, and the human being that I am, for taking the time to think about what could be done and for having the follow-through to do it. I think the jurors did to the extent that the American system requires, I think they did their best. I don't think that we have civics anymore. I don't think we really learn what is beyond a reasonable doubt. What is that? And it's not innocent until proven guilty, it's guilty until proven not guilty. And there's no such thing as innocent. Can we talk about that, you know? So I'm just I think we really need to focus, all of us. I think everybody in that courtroom, it was a whole bunch of nonsense. And very discombobulating, and I don't think anybody has any sense of what the judicial or legal system is supposed to be.
And on that note, let's assume that you got a chance to speak to someone in a huge amount of authority. Let's say President Obama came up to you, Cecily McMillian, and said, Cecily, I am looking to push for major reforms in the prison industry. What is the number one thing that I can do to make this a more effective system, both in prisons and in the court system itself?
I think, especially first-time offenders, should be treated from the root analysis of the issue. I think that rather than punitive measures, that person should specifically go into some sort of very well-funded social services program where they can undergo a conversation or maybe even therapy to say what is really the issue here. We value you as a member of society, and we want you to feel valued and loved and cared for, and we want to help you for whatever reason it is that things aren't working for you right now. So if that's food, and or if that's a better job, or if it's the housing environment, or if it's the school environment, or if it's addiction, domestic abuse, etc. We have this. Essentially, I want to see a Walmart of fucking social services. I want people to go in and be able to sit there in their early lives and say, this is the thing that's really fucking with me, and this is what I need help on. And I would really appreciate it if even if somebody just needs to scream about something.
So, looking back on your time with Occupy, and leading up to the time with the trial, and now you've served the majority of the time, hopefully, that you will be spending here in Rikers. When you get out, what are you most looking forward to, and what are you taking away from this experience?
I'm most looking forward to being able to speak for myself again. I haven't really been able to take any interviews, speak for myself, speak about the case, speak about the trauma, the really horrific effect it has had on a substantial amount of time in my life, my adult life for sure. I'm looking forward to healing from that. I guess what I'm taking away from this experience is everything I just said is so minimal compared to what everybody else here experiences. All of that 2 years, 3 years of my life being blah, blah, blah. And, I couldn't speak for myself. All of that is so fucking minor compared to the daily existence of most of the people in here, and what will be often their life existence. Even in my time that I've been here, I've seen 2 girls leave and come back, and I think that we have got to have one eye on how grateful we are for living the life that we have right now as organizers, and the responsibility that comes with that, and one eye forward on what we'd like to see, not only for ourselves, but for others. And so I think that we've got to see ourselves in a way that recognizes that we already have so much more, often, than most people. And that we've really got to work for them in a way that is earnest and is recognizing about the disparity between those who can stand up for themselves and those who cannot.
With our last 2 minute and a half, to someone who's young, who's heard your voice and is possibly considering becoming an activist, what would you say to them?
Well, it's really not that glamorous. It's just being a person. Being an activist is about really holding yourself to the standards of your beliefs on a daily basis. And that sounds like something that's going to be easy, and it's not. And it sounds like something that's going to be rewarding every day, and it's not. But at the end of the day, you will be able to look at yourself in the mirror every day and say, I am really, really trying my best here. And things are really, really difficult. And that is something I can put in my back pocket every single day. And the daily joy that you get from that is enough to get you through any situation. It's something that can't be bought. It's something that can't be given. It's something that you earn for yourself every day, and there's a certain agency in that just will light a fire in you and make you feel like you can rise above all of the horror that you see every day. And that maybe you can leave things a little bit better each day than you found them that morning. And that's some serious freaking power, man. It's really cool shit.
Wonderful. That's beautiful. So that is all of our time. Thank you so much, Cecily, for doing this.
Thank you. It's so good to see you. I'm so ready to get out.
Absolutely. What's the first thing you're going to do when you get out?
I have no idea. about it because I'm so afraid that on that morning it's gonna be like, just kidding.
I'm sure. There was a thing that was said to me when I was on the Appalachian Trail. I hiked with a guy. His name was Kevin Rosenberg. He went to prison for 8 years for fighting cops. And he told me when he was on the Appalachian Trail, I had all these troubles and all these worries, and he said to me, this too shall pass. And he was right. Thank you so much, Cecily.
Thank you. I'll see you when I get out.